So, I used to think I hated horror games. I was a pretty scared kid, to the point where I used to get nightmares after I watched Scooby-Doo. That is not a joke, I legitimately had a reoccurring nightmare about this bastard for years. That's right, I'm not afraid of you anymore, you moldy potato looking bitch. Because of this, as I grew up, I thought horror media just wasn't for me, especially horror games, because I had to actively be in control and couldn't just cover my eyes until the scary part was over. The main thing that got me past this was the original Dead Space, where I decided to push through the scares because I liked the combat, and the fact that I could actually fight back against the terrifying tentacle monsters made me a bit more confident. Since then, I've been trying to get into more horror games, and this search has inevitably led me to discovering the Resident Evil series. And that discovery has inevitably led me to Resident Evil 3, the remake that is. And oh boy, I freaking love this game, and you are just gonna have to sit there and hear about it. I guess you don't technically have to sit there and hear about it. You could just click off the video, but you should watch it. It'll be good. Okay, here we go. Cue the montage. A brief lesson in horror games by Professor Bread. Horror games, at least most modern mainstream horror games, seem to fall somewhere within this line chart and okay, yeah, I'm not sticking with that accent, that was so stupid. On the left of this line, we have what I like to call blubbering baby horror, where you have the defensive capabilities of a hamster in a blender and can only run and hide from the monsters that want to rip your face off. The middle of this line is survival horror. In this category, you usually do have at least some defensive capabilities, but usually not enough to feel confident in taking every fight or in killing every enemy. And finally, on the far right end of the chart, we have action horror. This is essentially an action game, but, you know, with just a lot of horror aesthetics, dark spooky environments, zombies, gore, the whole 9 yards. Now, there is a lot of debate where certain horror games seem to fall on this spectrum, but in general, games like Soma and Outlast would go here, games like the original Resident Evil and Silent Hill 2 would go here, and games like The Evil Within and Dead Space 3 would go somewhere around here. And Resident Evil 3, well... I'd say Resident Evil 3 knows exactly what it is. It's a freaking roller coaster. The game can't really seem to be put squarely anywhere on this chart. There are times, especially early game but on higher difficulties, where you're low on health and ammo, and it's a real struggle to figure out what fights to take, what zombies to avoid, and how to survive and push forward with the limited resources you have. That's the third time I've recorded this. I keep getting stuck on the word forward. We're moving on. But there's also times where you're fighting an indestructible monster wielding a flamethrower on the roof of a burning building, or mowing down hordes of zombies with an assault rifle, or punching a charging monster in the face before doming them in the head with a gun that sounds like God slamming his car door. Yeah, I stole that line from Zero Punctuation. What are you gonna do? The dislike button is disabled. You can't do crap. I would say that the most impressive aspect of this game is its ability to balance the two sides of itself. It's definitely more action horror than anything else, but it does a great job balancing its survival horror elements with its amazing action. And it all is just absolutely dripping with style. Like, okay, just take a look at the scene.
Really?
Now, I'm not sure if this moment would be considered scary for most players, but it's at the very least tense. This weird indestructible giant gimp has somehow survived being blown up, set on fire, and having almost your entire inventory's worth of ammunition pumped into him, and he's still coming after you. That's more than enough to keep the tension up. You run away, dodging rockets that explode all around you, blowing up zombies in your path. A giant rocket knocks loose a giant toy head that rolls away and nearly crushes you to death, before you just barely make it to your partner, who shoots a fuel tanker to buy you some time to escape in the ensuing fireball, and so much of the scene, just like the rest of the game, is just so stylish. The way Nemesis just crashes down, dropping the crate with a flourish as its locking bolts are blown away, the frame of this rocket being launched towards you in slow-mo before the blast throws you over a wrecked car, just oh my gosh, I love it so much. And so much of Resident Evil 3 just has this sort of stylistic flourish. Flourish? It's about the same. The rule of cool reigns supreme in this game, and it feels fantastic. Should Jill be able to survive this? No. Should Carlos be able to send an armored frog monster flying with nothing but his bare fist? No. Does a massive F-off railgun conveniently being in the boss room make any sense? No. Should Jill even be able to lift this thing? No. But is it all cool? Yes. Speaking of Jill, let's talk about the characters and story of this game. Jill Valentine is an absolute badass, and I love her. She's confident and capable, but also never really feels invincible, which is a perfect fit for the tone of this game. I also love how pissed she gets at the Nemesis throughout the story. The Nemesis, this walking ball sack in a trash bag, constantly hounds you throughout the game. You fight him again and again and again, blowing him up, setting him on fire, shotgunning him in the face, and he just won't die. And you can tell that Jill is absolutely sick of it.
How is this not dead yet? Just no.
Like, she sees this giant monster absolutely annihilate an entire train car full of people, standing there imposing and surrounded by flames. And she's so pissed off that her first reaction is not to run away from it, but to charge straight towards it like she's gonna sock him in the face. It's oh my gosh, I love it. It's fantastic. Jill's performance also has given me quite possibly my favorite scene and favorite line in all of gaming. Just great stuff. Carlos is pretty great too. He's got big muscles, luscious long locks of hair, and a charming personality. He and Jill have some pretty good chemistry and work well together, even if he can come off a little bit overly flirty at times. The rest of the cast is great too. The incredibly impressive facial capture and vocal performances do a great job in helping tell the story of this game. I'm showing a lot of spoilery footage in this video, but honestly, there isn't a whole lot of twists and turns to spoil if you are in any way familiar with the Resident Evil franchise. Umbrella does evil stuff, the good guys fight monsters and try to do good stuff, and the shady Russian guy does shady Russian guy stuff. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it feels like the most well-presented and high-budget B-horror movie you'll ever see. It's just to say that the main reason you play this game is to ride the roller coaster. From creeping slow-paced terror to massive zombie hordes and giant flaming monsters, the highs and lows of this game are equally compelling in my opinion. It may not be a long game, my first playthrough clocked in at around 6.5 hours, nor is it the scariest game, with a much greater emphasis on action than the previous Resident Evil 2 remake, but I absolutely love what it is. It's an incredibly fun and well-paced game with the perfect mix of camp, action, and horror. Its sense of style and over-the-top bombastic? Its sense of style and over-the-top action combined with terrifying monsters and survival horror gameplay are exactly the type of stuff that's making me fall in love with the Resident Evil series. And that is I guess that's all I wanted to say. It's a good game. That's the end of my script. Did I really not write an outro to this? Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the video and sticking around to the very end if you did, which I guess if you're hearing this you kind of have to have. If you like this video and want to see more sorts of things like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button, and if you disliked it, too bad. They took away the dislike button in between this video and my previous one, so you're out of luck. You gotta just hit the like button anyway, I guess, and ring that bell thing, like click on it, because I think that does something. I've never done it for another channel, but maybe it's good. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.